Dinosaurs. They were inhabitants of the earth millions of years ago, and we know about them now from fossils and by looking at the landscapes that they used to live in. And using all that knowledge and a little bit of creativity, we can make these. Excellent. Okay, not quite the real thing, little bit smaller and slightly plastic, but even so, we can find out about dinosaur adaptations by looking at these replicas. Before I ask you about adaptations, have a look at the dinosaurs and see what features you particularly notice.
It may seem puzzling to people, what is it that scientists do? In fact, it may seem to be a very difficult thing that they do. But actually what they do is use their common sense. What I do, I'm a scientist, is look at the world around me and try to understand how it works. So looking at a skeleton of a dinosaur or a model of a dinosaur, you can see certain features like sharp teeth or a long neck. These students were doing just that, and they were using their common sense to try to interpret what they may have been for.
Now, some of these features, if not all of them that we've talked about, are adaptations. So adaptations are features that help the animal fit into its environment. They give it an advantage. What did we notice?
There's a lump on its head, so maybe it could be used for swinging down and hitting other objects.
So it could be a bit of a battering ram, you think? Yeah. Yes? All right, what else? What did you notice?
I think I noticed the long neck.
Yes.
Maybe for if there's quite high leaves in the trees, then it could eat them.
The definite advantage for getting to the leaves that other dinosaurs can't reach. Yeah? Excellent.
When the students looked at the Brachiosaurus model, they made a couple of observations. The lump on the head and the long neck. So the suggestion was that maybe the animals could somehow bang into each other using that lump on the head, which looks a bit like a helmet. However, when you look at the specimens in detail, you discover that the bone there is actually quite thin. So probably they wouldn't be using that to bash each other, because otherwise the bone would have been much thicker. What it was for is still quite uncertain, though. But the other key aspect was the long neck, and I think there they got it spot on, because the hypothesis was this allowed those dinosaurs to reach very high in the trees to get at leaves that other animals couldn't reach.
What have you noticed?
I've noticed there's quite like bumpy bits here.
Ridges on the back. Yeah. Anything else?
I've noticed that there's very sharp teeth, which would come in handy for like eating a lot of meat.
Okay, so good meat-eating teeth here. Yep. Big jaws too, right?
It's got, like big claws, legs, but it has very small hands. So it can
Little wiggly hands.
mainly need a thumb for that.
Yes, it does.
Tyrannosaurus rex, T-Rex, is one of the most famous dinosaurs, and everybody is fascinated by how it would live. It was very massive. It weighed about 5 or 6 tons, and the model gave rise to a lot of discussion about the teeth and the arms and the legs. So clearly the observation by one of the students that T-Rex has got big sharp teeth and therefore it was probably a meat eater is a very obvious one. And all the evidence would seem to support that by comparison with modern animals. And even there are fossils that show tooth marks of T-Rex on pieces of bone from other dinosaurs. So that confirms the hypothesis.